Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So if you are interested in meeting your spirit animal, there is a shamanic journey to meet your spirit animal that was posted on the new channel, so definitely check that link out in the description box below. Okay, let's get in here. Okay. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. All right. There's like a whole different energy coming in, a whole different current of energy coming in from what has come in before in this week. So let's see what's going on. We have the initiation, so that would be why. Rite of passage, crossing the threshold. So we had messages about the threshold that had been coming up earlier in the week, and so whatever that threshold was for this collective, we've crossed it, right? So for some of you, it's just gonna be different things for everyone. But whatever this threshold is that we've crossed is taking us away from a terrain that's rather bleak, right? And it's bringing us into a place that's a lot brighter. It's someplace where we can feel alive. Now, this initiation isn't necessarily the easiest thing. Whenever we have initiatory experiences inside of our life, they can sometimes have tower moments. So things that we've invested in, things that we've put a lot of work into start to crumble. I do think that this phase is behind someone, or this phase might currently be taking place. Let's see, there is this image in the very front that's standing out to me here. It's a snake and it's a book. Now, there's something about knowledge. There may be some sort of knowledge about self, knowledge about a situation, just some sort of knowledge that we're recently coming into that has actually caused this to crumble. It's almost like the pursuit of knowledge is what is making this tower crumble. There's something that we are trying to learn here. Interesting. So I'm being pulled into like the image of this card because there's messages that are coming through from that. There's this sort of how do I want to put this? All the snakes are on the right side. So I feel that whoever this message is for, this knowledge that we're coming into, these things that we're learning, these are things that are coming in. I don't know that we've learned all of this just yet. There may be little things here and there that we're starting to realize, right? Especially about the self. There's these rocks that are standing here, and I keep thinking they're treasure chests. Whenever I see a treasure chest, for me, the treasure is actually something that we hold inside of ourselves. So that's why I'm reading it that way. There seems like there's little things that we're starting to learn about ourselves, but that's not all that we're going to learn. So whoever this message is for, this initiation that you're taking, this threshold that you've just crossed, this new era of your life that you've stepped into, it's almost like there's more knowledge and more wisdom there about yourself, about others, about your interrelations, about, you know, life, about some subject that you want to know about. There's more information there than maybe you've realized. There's something in that information that's highly alchemical. There's this idea of the mountain over here in the background. This is, you know, this is almost like a plateau, while this one's a mountain. We may have reached a plateau in the past, right? So we may have gotten a certain place and then we weren't able to get any further. No matter how much we worked, no matter how much we put towards things, we were never able to get further. And then here in the future, what's happening is we're climbing the mountain. In the tarot, whenever we see the mountain, we're really talking about the spiritual ascent, the like spiritual journey. And that's what I'm seeing happen here. This knowledge is directly related to someone's spiritual journey. This is an evolutionary phase that somebody is coming into. It may be a highly emotional phase for somebody. You may be more invested in your own emotions for some of you, just because of the appearance of water in the background there. So let's see. The warrior. Whatever this threshold is that we've recently crossed, it wasn't something that was done lightly, right? It's not something that you had to come to a place where you had enough bravery to do it. Potentially it required a lot of courage. And I'm going to say this because I wanted to say it earlier, but I didn't. There's like a misprint. It may not be a misprint. It may be something in the image, but it almost looks like a misprint to me, where it looks like I don't even think you can see it in the screen. It looks like a rainbow band coming out of the sky there. And we have a rainbow here, right? So there's some sort of hope. Someone here, there may be this threshold, whatever you've crossed into, it may require you to have hope or to be open to possibilities, to believe in something different than what you've previously expected. Because of that, it requires this sort of warrior energy, to have bravery. Establishing that bravery may be one thing that is being transformed, right? Maybe you are used to being someone who's afraid of things that you don't understand, or that you don't see the outcome for, right? And maybe this is growing you in such a way that we no longer fear when we don't know what's going to happen, and rather than that, we embrace it and accept that there's possibility in that moment. So someone here, there's something being refined inside of us. We see that here with the third eye, right? The third eye is our ability to see. And what can you see for yourself, right? What can you see for your future? What can you envision for yourself? The ability to see means understanding and having knowledge in darkness, right? We don't know what's out there until we see it. And so for someone here, this is about the refinement of what it is that you see for yourself, rather than seeing things in a negative way and worrying that it's always going to be the worst possible thing. You're being shown and guided through this threshold experience to see things in a brighter way, to see things in a better way. Whenever I have this sort of energy, it tells me that someone is stepping into the realm of manifestation, the ability to create out of nothing. There may be a lot of creativity because of the presence of the rainbow. There may even be insights and inspirations and ideas because of the presence of the lightning. Whenever we have this snake, though, this is about the culmination of wisdom and knowledge. And it's not just any knowledge. It's not just book knowledge. It's deep, internal, like soul level stuff. I mean, you have two initiation cards here. Halls of a Mentee initiation, secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, initiation. So we have, again, this sort of like the mysteries, the secrets, that deep soul level stuff. And then treasures, right? Treasure again. This is about the self. There's certain things that we are coming to understand, coming to realize, coming to learn. Here what we have is we have the pillars of light and dark, the pillars of, people say the Temple of Solomon, really that was taken from temples much older. One of them being the Temple of Atargatis, which is represented by the High Priestess card in the Tarot. And that's a very Piscean goddess. So there's this idea of this going into the well of the soul, right? Really being able to see certain lunar qualities of the self. Maybe the moon has been important for somebody. The full moon that just happened yesterday may have been important for someone, for example, that may be where a significant crossing of the threshold took place. Here we have a triangle, and in this triangle, this is an upward triangle. So this is not necessarily a manifestation triangle, it's an ascension triangle. This is something this is a process that's trying to return you to an original place, to a source, right? And I don't necessarily mean like, most people think, when they think return to source, they think, being out of the body or like refining yourself so that you now become like God. Obviously, all those things can be indicated here. But what it seems to be saying is refining you to the most pure version of yourself, right? Something that maybe we've lost along the way in this lifetime. There's all these stars that are showing up here, so stars may also be important for somebody right now. Stargazing might be important. And I want to say this, there's a symbol up here that's showing up for me. It's this trident, right? So deities with tridents might be important. For example, Shiva or Poseidon might be important. But that's really speaking to me about the rune Algis. And when we talk about Algis, we're talking about protection. And I feel that this is a sense of divine protection, right? Whatever this situation is, whatever crossed us over, I think this came out in yesterday's reading. It feels like divinely guided, right? So there's a sense of divine protection. We may have been too complacent for too long. And so this sort of tower moment or initiatory experience had to take place, because we're not really allowed to stay stagnant, especially if we are on a particular path or when we commit to particular ideologies. It's like the soul knows that we have to keep moving. And so we can stay someplace and take a break and allow ourselves to learn and absorb the lessons of that space, but eventually that tower is going to happen if we stay too long. And that's what I'm seeing here. But I do see that despite there being a tower, there's still courage involved in crossing the actual threshold. So let's see. The messenger, and prick up your ears. There's a message, right? Whatever is taking place in this space, there's a message. It is a message of knowledge. There's something being transmitted to you. Make sure that you're listening, right? I almost feel that for some of you, there's something that you're hearing over and over and over again, but we may have a way of dismissing it, or we may have a way of being like, yeah, but, and then we stay in the realm of the but. But this is a message that is meant to be heard before we actually take the steps past that threshold, right? It's something that we have to know, that we have to carry with us. Again, somebody here, you're stepping into the realm of manifestation. What are we growing? What are we growing? And then ancestry. Okay. So for some of you, one of the things that's taking place in this initiatory experience is it's moving you away from the stories that your ancestors have had. So for example, if you have poverty that's been inside of your ancestry, whatever this initiatory experience is trying to move you away from that. If you've had in your ancestry, everyone has had like terrible relationships, for example, whatever this initiatory experience is trying to move you away from that. There's something that we're trying to grow that is an energy that is something that was not accessible to the people that were before us. This is where we change the story of our lineage, right? So if you have children, for example, it's through you and through you setting this example that story gets to change. And there's also something kind of interesting coming in here for me. There's this bird inside the ancestry, and I'm feeling for some reason right now, it's really hitting me with the green. It's almost looking like this bird to me. For some of you, one of the things that you're being initiated into is understanding a profound healing gift. I'm feeling very strongly. That's not actually for some of you. This is actually the point. Whatever this initiatory experience is, it may seem unrelated, but what's actually happening is it's uncovering a profound healing gift. When we talk about spiritual abilities, oftentimes the most powerful abilities are the abilities that aren't out there for everyone to see, right? They're things that happen in the background. They're things that happen through the process of time and movement. It's somebody who they heal by being or by doing what naturally comes to them. So, for example, maybe creating works of art and that being their concern, and yet that work of art somehow manages to like inspire and uplift others, thus healing the energy that person has experienced, right, around them. So there's something like that here. It's whatever we're stepping into, this is how we heal. This is how we heal others and heal ourselves. So this is amazing. This is like, I don't know, I didn't expect this reading to go that way, but here we are. Okay. Archangel Michael and Peace Angel. Again, we have this sort of warrior energy coming in. So a lot of bravery having to happen. We have this divine protection energy that's coming in. It's almost like there's something external to you that has had to battle for you, right? Maybe because we keep making a particular type of choice that keeps us stuck in this previous version of ourselves. And what's trying to happen here is trying to shake us out of that. This is an interesting card because one of the things that we see is the poppy. And so for myself, poppy is kind of a symbol of death. What we have inside the poppy is this eye, but the eye is filled with stars. Inside the stars, I almost see like this trident thing again. So again, we have this sort of throwback to deities with tridents, or this divine protection energy that's coming in, but it almost seems from like some sort of realm of death. There, again, we have ancestry showing up next to that. So there may even be an ancestor working on somebody's behalf. In whatever the situation is, it does feel like a doorway that we were very hesitant to walk through. And again, we have this sort of lightning. It's like this divine occurrence, right? Where lightning strikes the tower, for example, inside the tarot. This divine occurrence that has brought something that we invested in a long time, or that we set our security and our comfort around, comes down. When we talk about the tower inside the tarot, that's what you see, right? You see these two rich people inside of this castle, and that castle comes crumbling down. And the reason why the tower happens is because we've built up things inside of our life that aren't supposed to be there. They can't come with us, in other words, as we grow beyond them. And so someone here, it's almost as though you have some external help that is, and you know, this might be an ancestor, for example, or maybe you work with the Archangel Michael, but this is something that has taken something essentially out of your life so that you have the freedom and the space to move over this threshold that keeps showing up here. Again, you have two initiation cards falling out here. Now, the gardener is interesting because the thing that really strikes me about the gardener is that laying of roots. And if you look at that, those roots are very strong. They look very strong. They're very interwoven. Those roots are even supporting other baskets that are growing things. So there may be something in terms of our roots, right? In terms of laying foundations, solid foundations for ourselves that may be coming in. But I feel more than that, what's happening is you're being initiated into an experience that is bringing you back to your roots in some way. So when we talk about this can be scary, right? Because oftentimes the reason why we cover over those roots and we lose that sense of self is because we've had to grow up, or we've had to move beyond them, or we've been shown that that's not going to work. So that always has an element of fear inside of it. The thing is that whatever those roots are, that is the key to whatever it is, right? Whatever it is that you're trying to do. If you're trying to like find your purpose, if you're trying to find happiness, if you're trying to find peace. Again, on the bottom, we do have peace angels showing up. We have 3 candles kind of superimposed upon each other. So I always see this card as like the lower self, the middle self, the higher self. And right here, the brightest one is the higher self. So there's something here again that is kind of like external to us that is leading us in this particular way. It's almost like we made some sort of decision here in the past, you know, that I don't necessarily want things to stay the same. I don't necessarily want things to be this way forever. There has to be something more. And even just that question, even just that intention is enough to start steering the ship. And that's what I'm seeing here. So again, this is a very important card for this reading. This idea of our vision, our personal vision, that third eye energy, over time and over a great amount of pressure is refining itself. It can see different angles, right, through that cut gemstone. And this is the transformation. This is where we find this sense of hope and possibility. When we talk about this sort of something having to die that was very stubborn, right? Something having to pass away that was very stubborn in order to bring us here. Notice that the color is still drab other than this. So this feels a little bit like this is the energy that someone is really trying to adopt at this time, trying to be brave, trying to have courage in order for this crossing of the threshold to be successful. Let's see. Oh, not that one. Okay, so we have the King of Pentacles, we have the King of Cups, we have the Fool, and we have the Nine of Cups. King of Pentacles, Master of Earth, King of Cups, Master of Emotions. The Fool, right? Infinite possibility. And then we have the Nine of Cups. Now, infinite possibility in so much as things are available. So what I mean by that is the Fool, while representing the soul, already has a little bit of baggage that they're carrying in. Now, this baggage, if you look at it in the regular Rider-Waite, I really prefer the universal Rider-Waite. What you see is a pine cone on that bag, and what this represents is the baggage that now programs reality through the third eye, the pine cone and the third eye, kind of whatever, beyond the scope of this reading. And some of you guys know, and if you don't, look it up. And what's happening here is he may be a little unaware that all that stuff is inside of that bag behind him. He's just kind of going about, looking around, and the thing is that he has this spirit that's with him, right? This sort of animal, this loyalty, this faithfulness that's coming with him. And there's this energy that's going on inside of this, that this is really what we're transforming by stepping into this energy, right? Whatever we've come in with, whatever stories we've come in with, whatever limitations we've come in with, we're removing those and opening up into this possibility, right? The possibility that was always there. We may just have had other things inside of the way. So for some of you, you may be currently going through something that is emotionally, financially, or something else in the 3D, karmic, right? And this may be a karmic process that's taking place. And some of you may recognize that, right? You can tell that by the depth of the emotion that this particular tower strikes inside of you, right? How deeply entrenched was this thing, and how liberating does it feel when you finally accept that it has to go? There's something about coming back to the self when we have that, right? Especially with this Halls of a Mentee card. There's something about self-knowledge that we're learning. Again, with all the snakes, with Halls of the Mentee, there's something that's being uncovered. And what this is the Nine of Cups. You may be discovering things in this phase that you didn't realize you were even looking for. And this is where that, going back to the first card with these snakes over here, this is the true knowledge. This is what you're discovering at this time. Understanding what it is that we were always looking for, but we didn't realize. So whoever's message this is, if this resonates with you, you're in a very powerful time. And feel free to like this reading and leave a comment. And until next time.